Life is full of ground rules, guidelines, ideas and concepts about how to get along with others, to make your life, your reality, easier and more successful. When we were growing up, we were taught to say please and thank you, to hold the door open for others and not let it slam in their face, to be on time, not to cut in line, and not to point at people, and eat it because it'll grow hair on your chest. Not sure about the last one. I think that was just to get me to eat canned beets. But the others do make for better relationships. In my study of neurolinguistic programming, which in a nutshell is a study of subjective reality and how to change it, I discovered a few rules that do add power to your life. One of the interesting things about them, these presuppositions, is that they aren't necessarily true. Another interesting thing about them is that if you choose to act as if they are true and allow them to be guidelines, then your life and your relationships can become easier and more effective. Really, the better question isn't, are these true, but are they useful and effective? Here are three of my favorite presuppositions. 1, you cannot not communicate. 2, the response you get is the meaning of your communication. And 3, there's no failure, only feedback. In another video, I'll tell you about some of my other favorites. Number 1, you cannot not communicate. What this means is that we're always communicating. Communication is not just what you say, it's your body posture, your gestures, your facial expressions, and your tonality. Your posture communicates how you're feeling. When you're looking down, your shoulders rolled forward, and you have a faraway look on your face, it's reasonable that others may assume that you aren't on top of your game at that moment. When you're standing up straight, head held high, shoulders back, feet spread, it's also reasonable that others may assume you're feeling confident and perhaps even happy, that you are on top of your game. A smile that involves your eyes is a good indication that you're feeling pretty doggone good and not just a maniac waiting to pounce. If your eyes are wide and your mouth is open, it can communicate surprise. Who'd have thunk? It's been found that words represent a minor part of the meaning of communication, and tonality represents the second most meaning, and your physiology communicates the most. And then there's the silent treatment. That can communicate a lot more than any words. These are only some of the ways that you get your point across. Being aware of this, you can adjust how you're communicating and become a more effective, more powerful communicator. 2, the response you get is the meaning of your communication. I know some of you will push back on this one. You can dig your heels in and blame them for not listening or misinterpreting what you said. Well, maybe they weren't listening. Maybe they did misinterpret, but that isn't the point. Keep in mind, you're wanting to get your point across. It's your point, not theirs. Take total responsibility for what you communicate and how you communicate it. Be aware of your message and then adjust what and how you say it. Keep in mind, number 1. One of my instructors, many consider a wizard in communication, said, having flexibility and how you communicate makes you more powerful, and the most powerful communicator wins. You may hear something similar in another video. I say, if it's a good enough point to communicate, it's a good enough point to communicate clearly. So if they don't understand, it's up to you to make it clear. 3, there's no failure, only feedback. I really love this one. Some of you are going to say, of course there's failure. I have failed. Possibly. Even Michael Jordan said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. Buried in that seeming failure is a massive success, a different mindset. He didn't quit. He retired as arguably the greatest player in history. Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. When you view failure as feedback, it puts you in a vastly different frame of mind. It tells you what doesn't work, that what you did wasn't effective. So if it doesn't work and it wasn't effective, What can you do that will be? Doing things, creating things, even thinking and feeling are all processes. There are processes that lead to an outcome. When the outcome is not what you desire, change the process. Alter the path until you get the outcome you want, or an even better one. Consider how we would be living if Edison thought himself as a failure and quit, or what basketball would be like if Jordan gave up as a failure. Yes, these are dramatic examples, but view your life through the Jordan Edison lens. Realize you don't fail, you only learn some things that don't work. That's success. Give it some thought. By the way, you can't fail with thinking. Here's a bonus guideline that I learned from Byron Katie. Stop fighting reality. I attended a seminar she gave quite a while back. One of the attendees was talking about how poorly she'd been treated in a relationship, how he shouldn't have done this and how he shouldn't have done that. Byron listened compassionately and said, and I paraphrase, "Do you know why he should have done those things?" The question seemed to boggle the mind of the woman with the story, and others of us also. She shook her head somewhat confused. Byron said, "Because he did. Things are as they should be because they are that way. Any other way is constructed by your mind, and generally the outcome of this construct is some sort of grief. Grief, like all emotional or mental states, is a process. Change the process to create a better outcome." Thanks for watching. I'll have another video of some more of my favorite NLP presuppositions, and stay tuned and stay well during the craziness. Oh, by the way, don't talk with your mouth full. Clean up after your pet, and for God's sake, use your turn signal. See you later.